Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Joe Barber. It is Thursday, 26, 27, 26, 27. Yeah, something like that. Not very good with days, man. I stay so involved in doing things that they just go. But anyway, I'm jumping online, or I'm making this video so I can post it. And I got my phone holder this time, so I'm not having to use my hands to hold the damn phone. But when I hit bumps, it shakes. But either way, today's message. What is today's message, man? I'm just thinking. I'm praying to God. I'm listening up to my worship music in the morning. I usually start my days off like that. I try my best not to listen to any like worldly music. I don't mind listening to it, but sometimes when I feel like my vibration is off, I get influenced by that kind of music, and it does affect me. And it happens to everybody, man. That's just how we're designed with the way our body is created, you know, through vibrations and frequencies and all that. It affects us, good and bad. I understand that. I kind of studied like some of the science behind it, and I was fascinated by it. So I read a lot of books, and I'm like, wow, I mean, that's how our bodies are created. There's different studies that they did, and you could look up Joe Dispenza. He's the one that really like breaks it down really, really, really well to where you can comprehend it. But I want to talk to you today. It's like a real deep subject. It's about trust. You know, trust is a very delicate thing, and it's a very expensive thing that you can't buy at a store. You can't order it on Amazon, and you can't play with it. And in my life, I've never really experienced unconditional love from another individual to where I grasped it and understood why that person displayed that kind of love towards me. And in order for love to be displayed at that caliber, there has to be an equal amount of trust. And when you love somebody and you trust somebody equally, it's a beautiful thing. When that person knows that you trust them and they trust you, it's a beautiful thing, but it's very delicate, because a lot of us have been raised and conditioned to not be that way. A lot of us, we put our walls up because we feel defenseless, or things have happened. We had trauma in our life that ruined that, you know. And then finally, when you do find someone that you trust and that you love, and you put your walls down, and that person, it's hard, because the more I think about it, the more I want to know it. It's one of those things too where it's kind of sometimes unfair to the other individual when you have these insecurities and this trauma about yourself, and you project out onto someone else and be like, no, this person is going to be my savior, or this person is going to be my refugee, you know, whatever, like my refuge. I don't know if I'm using the term correctly, but like, you can go to somebody and they're going to protect you, and they're going to provide, you know, this safe haven for you, and which people can, definitely. But sometimes that person needs to know the amount of trauma that you have and why you value trust so much, so they know, like, oh man, I better be really careful, and I have to understand that I cannot, you know, if I'm gonna mess up in any area, this is the area I don't want to mess up in, basically. And I'm just telling you from experience. Like I said, man, when I make these videos like I'm talking to my kids, and I talk like to, you know, talking to people that I love, because there's a lot of stuff out there that people can talk about, you know, and if they don't look like you, or if they don't look like they come from where you come from, more than likely you're not going to listen to what they got to say. I understand that. You have to relate to people in order for you to really like give them benefit of the doubt. Some people make videos for the clicks. Some make videos for the clout. Some people make videos because they're authentic. And I'm part of the authentic group because I do care. I want to be the change that the world needs. And that's why I make these videos. This is my little contribution to helping. But like I said, trust is a very delicate thing. And not everybody values it because not everybody understands it. And not everybody has been given the opportunity to get a taste of it. It's the same thing with love. Not everybody has had love. They might have had love. They might have had infatuation. They might have had lust. They might have had all these other things that are generic to the true definition of love. And then you ask, but what is real love, Joe? What's real love? Man, honestly, that's between you and God. Only God can display true love in your heart. And then from there on, when you see how God displays it, that's where you have to kind of like take it from there and understand that's what godly love is, man. And I'm pulling up to get breakfast, so pardon me when I order this, but I want to continue this conversation real quick. Man, I hit the speed bump and oh my goodness, the whole truck shook. So I ordered my breakfast real fast. Oh, it's crazy, man.
Good morning. Thank you for choosing today. Can I have an egg for the order, please?
Joe?
For Joe?
Yes.
Good morning. We're going to get for you today.
Yes, ma'am. Can I take the number 5?
Number 5, egg white with mustard?
Yes.
And what's the drink going to be for you?
It's going to be an orange juice.
Orange juice. Okay.
And then I'll also add a large fruit cup.
A large fruit cup?
Yes. And that'll be it.
Any condiments, jelly, or honey for you?
No, ma'am.
Alright. Egg white with mustard, hot dog with orange juice, and a large fruit cup. It's going to be $14.66.
All right. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So yeah, $14.66. That's breakfast. And then we order lunch. And then we dinner. I mean, I don't order from Chick-fil-A all the time, but it just adds up, man. So, you know, I've made videos about budgeting and all that. It adds up quick. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. How trust is such a delicate thing. How love, if you've never experienced love, it's hard for you to display love. A lot of us grow up in homes without fathers, without mothers, or without, you know, that kind of like real love and like, you know, helping you heal, helping you learn, and helping you like, sometimes we grow up where we can't even make mistakes. It's like the school system. You make a mistake, oh, you're in trouble. You make a mistake, oh, you're in trouble. You can't learn. And the reality of this world is like we learn by making mistakes, but it's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes because that's how you learn in this world, in this reality. You learn from making mistakes. Now in relationships, it sucks because you will make mistakes. Sometimes we get influenced by our friends, we get influenced by television, we get influenced by music, and we fantasize about having a relationship like the Disney type, or we fantasize about having a relationship like a movie like the Titanic or whatever. And I love those movies, but you cannot compare your life and the real real love to those kind of situations. And I mean, as great as they sound, love doesn't always work that way, man. But people need to understand that love is patient, love is kind, you know, and there's a lot of other stuff that you can find I want to say that's in Corinthians that talks about that. But those are the kind of things that you have to learn. And when you do find someone that loves you and you find someone that you love, and if you want to create a matrimony that's like, look, man, I'm giving everything I got to you. And sometimes you may do that, right? And let's just say you do that and you commit yourself. I mean, you have to make that decision every day. Just because you get married and just because you find someone that you love, I promise you, bro, we change and we evolve every year, every month, every day. So you might be this one person that loves and cares and, oh man, I love my job. And then next thing you know, things change in our society, the way we think, the way we move, the way we operate. It affects you a little bit. Your job changes, you know, oh, you can't work from work anymore. You have to work from home. So you adapt. And then that changes you. So you're getting pulled from all different directions. And sometimes what happens is you start changing from the person that you were, because there's only so much patience you have. There's only so much understanding that you're willing to pull out. And there's only so much pain that you're willing to endure from people taking advantage of you. So then what happens is you lose that, and then your relationship dwindles down to like, I only have this much patience for my spouse, and oh man, you're not doing these things, and then you're just bumping heads, and then the love is no longer there. Now it becomes a business. I'm only gonna do for you when you do for me, and it takes away, and then it becomes that. And I'm telling you, man, it's crazy, because I've never ever in my life, I've been in relationships, I've been in a marriage before, and I never understood how all that works. Like I never grasped it. I thought like, well, you chose me, I chose you, and we're gonna be together no matter what. And it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way all the time, because some people have aspirations, some people have ego, some people have pride, some people have like, there's a lot of other things, and then they listen. What's depending on what you're listening to, who you're taking advice from, and they project their life and their ideals onto your person or you, and it's a lot, man. But at the end of the day, that's why it's like I always talk about what God wants us to be like, and what that's the only love that matters to me, honestly. Hold on, pay for my food. Hi. Yes. And that's the best advice I could give anybody. Is that's the only way, man. And you have to find your way through that yourself, because. Thank you, ma'am. You too. So, as I was saying, man, it's like your definition of love, my definition of love may be different. Your definition of loyalty may be different. Your definition of trust may be different, because we all come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different upbringings, and we're all damaged in some way, and some of us are damaged worse than others. That still doesn't give you an excuse to project yourself and your pain and all these other things onto people. It does not give you an excuse. You still have to be responsible for your thoughts, your actions, your words. And some of us, we've never, like me, I had never experienced success where I have money and my business is doing good and this and that. And you attract people when you're shining and the spotlight's on you and you're doing good, man, you attract people to you like flies, bro, like flies. It's just like everybody wants a piece of you. And some people are genuine. Some people are happy, like, oh man, like for me, man, I've been on TV shows, I've been on commercials, I've done all this stuff, and people, I would post things on like Facebook and Instagram because I wanted to let people know, like, man, I was happy. It wasn't about clout, it wasn't about flex, it wasn't about boasting. It was just showing people like, man, this is, and I would always give credit to God, and I'd be like, man, I'm so grateful that God's allowing me to do this. I'm so grateful that God blessed me. I'm so grateful. And I was always about that, because I know that as fast as something can come is as fast as it can be taken away from you. And I understand that. So my thing was, even by opening my own business, even by, me doing things where I was able to generate more money. And sometimes when you're not ready for money, you're not ready for the responsibility of having to take care of money and what money brings to you. And yes, man, money is a tool, right? It's a tool that you use, and money can help you tremendously to gain freedom from having to work the 9 to 5 all the time, man. And I've been working for a long time. I don't mind working hard, but I get tired. I'm weary, man. Like I get weary of having to be at my barber shop every day, and my mind doesn't rest, my soul doesn't rest, because I'm constantly having to pour into my customers, into the barbers that I have, into the business, and also try to elevate myself to become greater than. And sometimes I don't invest into my relationship, I don't invest into those kind of things, and then when it starts falling apart, then I'm like, oh man, well, what's going on, and why this and why that? And then I'm like, damn, man, it's my fault. It's nobody else's fault. It is my fault that these things are falling apart, because it's my responsibility to maintain my relationship. It's my responsibility to maintain my health. It's my responsibility to do all that kind of stuff, man. And unfortunately, like I said, because we don't hold ourselves accountable, because a lot of us don't even know how, a lot of us don't understand how important it is to hold yourself accountable, to be responsible, and to be organized with our thoughts, our words, and our actions. A lot of those things, man, are imperative to be successful in life, because you want to be balanced all across. It's like a stat sheet, man. If we're playing basketball, you got to have a good amount of points, a good amount of rebounds, a good amount of assists, a good amount of defense, a good amount of, all that. And you have a good attitude, and, still have energy to help your teammates, and even when you're not shining, be happy if your teammate is shining. So you want to be across the board balanced. And in life, it's the same thing. You want to be balanced in health. You want to be balance in your finances. You want to be balanced in your relationship. You want to be balanced in your friendships. So it is hard, man. But to get to that point, from my experience, you have to learn how to work on yourself daily. So in your morning, you want to dedicate 2 to 3 hours on working on yourself. Like, you know what, man? And it's you got to sacrifice sleep. You got to wake up 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Like, I don't have to be here at work till 10, and I'm already here. It's 9 o'clock. But I usually wake up like, 5:30, 6 o'clock. As soon as I wake up, I show gratitude. I pray and I thank God for allowing me to open my eyes, for me having my fingers, my legs, me not having back pain, me not having any, sickness in my body. I'm grateful for all that first. Then I'm grateful for the home that I'm in. I'm grateful for the vehicles that I have. I don't have, $50,000 vehicles, man. My vehicles are, whatever they are, but I'm grateful for them because they allow me to come to my job, to come to my work, to go take my son to school, they allow me to operate in a way to where I'm like, you know what, I'm getting from A to B. I may not be flying, I don't have a helicopter or nothing like that, but I'm grateful because I know that this is what I can handle, and I'm good with that. Not to say I don't want anything better in the future. I'm just saying, like, I'm showing gratitude as soon as I wake up. And then I like to, get my stuff going, take a shower, get ready, and I'm constantly, or I'll listen to music that's positive. I listen to, sometimes I listen to motivational, like there's videos on YouTube. All you got to do is type motivational videos, and then you'll see, some Denzel Washington's or some other quotes that, and it's just Les Brown. Like, there's different people that I listen to, and you just listen to that, man. And basically what you're doing is you're trying to unlearn all the crap that we learned growing up, and you're trying to replace it with positive thinking, with motivational thinking, with assurance that, you know what, man, I'm headed in the right direction. I'm doing right by waking up early, by taking the necessary precautions and like protecting my energy, understanding that my thoughts become words and my words become actions. So you constantly have to tell yourself, you know what, man, this matters to me, this matters to me, this matters to me, this matters to me. All the other stuff, man, like I cut off a lot of my friends. Not that I don't love my friends, I don't spend time with them, I don't engage with them, because my plate is so full of stuff that I just don't have time to maintain friendships in that way. A lot of my friends are busy anyways doing their thing, but the point that I'm trying to make is that you have to decide what's important to you, and you have to invest time into it, man. Because promise you, I would love to stay in bed till 9 o'clock and then be like, all right, man, get up, take a shower at 10, leave my house at 10:30 and get here by 11, and then cut hair all the way till 7 o'clock. And I'm telling you, I'm busy at my barbershop. 90% of the time I'm full. 90% of the time I am full from open to close. Sometimes I don't eat lunch. Sometimes I don't take a break. Sometimes and sometimes I gotta answer emails because people get on my Google account for the shop. They email me to ask questions about haircuts, and then I have to respond to them every now and then, because for some reason, I don't know why, people don't just want to call the shop. They want to communicate through email. I don't know why it happens, but that's another thing that's on my plate. Then I got to deal with barbers that are not here on time. Then I got to deal with barbers complaining about, something, what's going on in their life, and they don't take things serious. They're not hustling to make things better. They don't want things to be, they don't want to feel like they have to work for something. They feel like they need to show up to the shop and the customer should just be there waiting for them. I don't know where this mentality comes from. But some of them have that kind of mentality, and it is very frustrating, because I'm like, man, y'all have no idea what it takes to be successful. You think because you cut 4 or 5 people a day that you're doing good. I'm like, the goal is to cut 10 people to 15 people a day. If you can break those haircuts down into 30 minutes, that's a full day right there. And that's what we signed up to cut hair. I signed up to cut hair. I've been doing this for a long time. So if you're telling me that you signed up to cut hair, but you only want to cut 3 or 4 heads a day, how do you sustain your lifestyle? How do you pay your bills? How do you take care of your family? And they feel like, well, now I have to have a side hustle. And I'm like, nah, it's all good. I respect having a side hustle. But if you're not going hard at this and you're going harder at that, then you need to exclude yourself from this, because you're setting a bad example. And not only are you setting a bad example, you're hurting the brand here, because people come in and you're not here. People come in and you're not able to accommodate them because you have an attitude, because you don't want to cut more than 4 people. And it's that kind of mentality that I have to deal with that while I'm here, while I'm still dealing with a full schedule. And that's why I decided to just open a school, because I was like, man, I can't pour into, 14 other barbers and still have the energy, the patience, and, the love to go home and pour into my spouse, or pour into my children, or pour into my dogs, or pour into my hobbies, or whatever it is that I love. So I understood, and it is rough, man. It's rough. So I said all that stuff to get to this point, man. If you ever want to open a barbershop, if you ever want to open a school, if you ever want to open just a business, understand that you're going to have to separate the two, and you're going to have to control your emotions. You're going to have to understand where to draw lines and set boundaries. You're going to have to understand what triggers you. And I would recommend, highly recommend that you work on yourself. What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What desires? What are your weaknesses? Are you addicted to drugs? Are you addicted to pornography? Are you addicted to women? Are you addicted to, driving aggressive? Or what are your triggers? Deal with those things before, I would highly suggest you deal with that before you get into opening a business, man. I promise you, because temptation will come in the form of friendships, in the form of flattery, in the form of whatever. And sometimes when business is good and you got, 50,000 in the bank, and you life is good, you dress good, you smell good, you're working out, that pride will creep in. Women will come through, men will come through, opportunities will come through, and everything that glitters ain't gold. Everything that glitters is not gold, man. Understand that, please, because I'm telling you, when the time comes, God will bless you. You have to stay true to yourself, stay true to God, stay true to your spouse, stay true to your family, because that's who's going to be there at the end of the day, at the end of your life. You're not going to be in your deathbed wondering like, man, who's going to be driving my Ferrari, or who's going to take care of my house, or you're not thinking of none of that, man. All you're thinking about is the memories that you have with the people that you love. And, that's where legacy comes into play, because that's the thing that I'm after, having a legacy. I was raised by an alcoholic mom. My dad was a drug dealer. He was never in my life. He was in prison most of his life. He passed away. And my mom doesn't, she doesn't look really well right now. My mom also has cancer right now, and she's dealing with that. And it's tough, because those are decisions that she made, and she's dealing with the consequences to that. I love my mom, but I have so much going on in my life that I can't even open my heart to allow her to see. I show her affection and love. I talk to her. I interact with my mom, every now and then. My mom lives a different kind of lifestyle than I live. So I kind of distance myself from her, because sometimes my mom wants to vent to me, and I'm like, Mom, my cup is full already. I can't even take in any more negativity at all. And I choose just to you know what, Mom, I love you. If I can help you with finances, I will. If I can do this, I will. But I'm not here I can't do it. So I'm telling you guys, man, and that's a part of, a lot of owners will not tell you that. A lot of people will not talk about that. A lot of people won't teach you how your thoughts, when you're constantly thinking negative thoughts, you're always going to attract negativity, man. Always going to attract negativity. And even though you may face a situation, you want to be positive about it. You want to think positive. You want to say, you know what, man, regardless of what I see, what I hear, what I feel, I know that good things are going to happen. I know God is in control. I know that I'm going to constantly push through, and no matter the heartbreak, the heartache, the disappointments, the people stabbing you in the back, bro, that's a lot of people don't know, man. A lot of people have taken me for, they taken me for granted, man. They're taking advantage of my love, my kindness. And because I'm in the position that I'm in, I don't want to interact like I used to. The old Joe would have done some crazy stuff, man. I would have been snatching people's chains. I would have snatched people's stuff. I would have went and snatched people's cars up. I would have, like, it would have been that kind of stuff, man. And I don't want to do that because I don't want to put that kind of energy out. I don't ever want to display that because I want to be the change to where people understand that, you know what, man, that guy right there has been through hell and back, and if he can do it, I can do it. And the devil will come and test you too, man. The devil's always going to be testing you, no matter what. You have to understand too that negative force is always going to come test you, because he wants to. And I don't want to say it's like a gender, like, oh, we always say he and he, like God too. It's like the devil wants to tear down your testimony, man. People want to make you out to be a liar. People want to discredit you. No matter what you've overcome, you could have been homeless, you could have been this, you could have been that. You're always going to get tested, man. And it sucks because a lot of us don't understand that life is a test every day, and you have to enjoy the journey, and you have to enjoy the moments, and you have to enjoy the people. But sometimes you have to understand and distinguish, like, you know what, man, these kind of people are not the kind of people I want to be around. Doesn't mean I don't love them, doesn't mean I don't care about them, but the way they function and the way I function, where they want to be and where I want to be, are two different places. So you can be on, they could be on the access road and you could be on the highway, or vice versa. Doesn't mean that you're not going in the same direction, but you're not going to the same place, man. Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen in life. You're going to understand that as you get older. And I hope, you know, if you're a young barber or you're a young entrepreneur and you're working on your dreams, understand that you got to work on yourself. Understand that you got to value the people that are invested in you with time, money, energy, whatever it is. That people that really love you, man, believe me, value them the most. Because in this world, so many people are broken. So many people are disconnected from the truth. So many people don't understand what real love is. And they may never experience it until they get to a point where they have no value in themselves. Then they want the love, and they want you to love them like the way they are. And it's very hard because a lot of us have baggage. We all have trauma. We all have issues. And that's the hard part, because a lot of us, we don't deal with that very well, because we're not taught to. We're taught to, like, you know, especially in the Hispanic, Mexican, like, you don't talk about problems. You don't talk about people hurting you. You know, whether you were molested when you were little, whether somebody cheated on you, where you were abused when you were little, or somebody burned you with a cigarette, or somebody, you know, try to cut your finger or put your hand over the stove, you know, all that. Man, believe me. And they say, you know what, just put that stuff and hide it deep inside of you. And don't talk about it. You just don't bring shame to the family. Don't do this. Don't do that. Hell nah, dog. You got to deal with that. And sometimes you got to deal with it by yourself. And you got to look in the mirror and forgive yourself. And you got to forgive those people, even though those people are not there and they don't deserve your forgiveness. You have to learn to let that go. You have to learn to let it go, man, because if not, it will kill you from the inside. That's worse than cancer. It's worse than any drug. It's worse than any sickness that we have right now, because I'm telling you, that stuff hides deep inside your body, man, and it'll affect your relationships, your friendships, your business, your self-worth, your everything, man. It'll eat you up. I'm telling you from experience. And everything starts in your mind, and everything starts in your gut, where we're constantly going back and forth, like, man, should I do this? Should I not do this? You start questioning yourself. Am I good enough to have this? Am I good enough to have this kind of love? Am I good enough to have this kind of relationship? Am I good enough to have this much money? Am I good enough to have this car? Am I good enough to have this career? And it's like, and then sometimes when you do get it and life is going good, you puff up and that pride comes out. Then you're like, man, why am I so prideful? Why am I so this? Why do I belittle other people? Why do I talk down on other people? And then life will hit you again in the face, and you're like, wow. And sometimes we look at people and we think, man, their life is like awesome. Their life is great. Their life is like just perfect. And it's not. It's not, man. It's a facade, and they get caught playing this avatar, this character. And then you're like, wow, man, this sucks. It really does. Having to deal with that. Unfortunately, man, a lot of people don't talk about these things. And there is people out there that do, but a lot don't. And you're never gonna find someone that's really transparent about it, because sometimes people are the biggest thing that I can say is people are, they're just like embarrassed. They're embarrassed. They think that by you showing your scars, that you're weak. And I'm like, hell no, bro. That's not true. You show your scars. It shows that you made it through, and it's the goal is to get to the other side. No one said you're gonna get to the other side unscathed, or like you're not gonna have no marks, bro. It's like we're marching through. And I know people that'll fold under pressure, bro. Why? Because they always run when it gets tough. They always run, or they always want to blame somebody else. And because of that, it makes it difficult, because then your kids watch you do that, and your kids are going to continue to be that way. Or what happens is they start getting brainwashed, not only by your actions and your words and your thoughts. I know for a fact that I had a lot of trauma that I inherited from my mom. One big thing that my mom would do when I was driving as a kid, you know, dropping me off at school, my mom would cuss at every car that was speeding, that didn't use a blinker, that, you know, was not going fast enough, or that was going too slow. And my mom would let them have it. The windows are up. And instead of my mom, and this is the crazy part, right? Let's just use scientific facts, that my mom will have the windows up, and the reverberation of those sounds, that frequency, would bounce off the window and hit me. I would hear it. I would feel it. And my mom thinks she's yelling at them and taking out her frustration, but it's not traveling and penetrating through these windows. It's coming right at us, and all it's doing is it's coming right back to us and doing damage to us. And all you do is get more frustrated. So I inherited that, and then I passed that down to my kids, because I see my kids doing that. My kids point out, and yeah, we're defensive drivers. We got to keep an eye on everybody. But then it got to a point to where we're like, well, look at this guy and look at that guy. And look, man, look at them. And they don't even have their blinker. Look at their tail light is broken. Why don't the cops get them? I'm telling you, that happens so much. And I've disconnected from it 99.9%. I still have that where it's still, but now it's, instead of pointing it out, what I do is just pray for those people. If someone's driving and they're speeding and the blinker, you know what, God, be with them. I don't know if they're in a rush. I don't know what's going on, but God, be with them. And those are I replace things now. And that's what I would tell you. When people get under your skin, or people are doing things that agitate you, or they trigger you, pray for those people, man. I'm telling you, it's important that you let go, because you're just hurting yourself. And when you hurt yourself, you're now hurting your family. You're now hurting your business. You're now hurting your friends. Now you're hurting your dreams. You're hurting your, all it spreads. I'm telling you, man, it's so hard to be like, oh, nah, man, I didn't let it go. And then you walk into the barbershop, or you walk into your business, your energy is all jacked up, and people can feel it. People can see it, and you don't even know it. And then, dude, it's a domino effect. So I wanted to just share that today, man. Regardless of what's going on in your life, know that you're worthy. Know that I don't care where you come from. I don't care where you've been. I don't care what wrong you did yesterday, man. If you have the mentality of, you know what, today I'm going to do better, keep doing better. Regardless, and if you're single and you're not married and all that kind of stuff, still, the information that I share with you, still display that daily. Still think that way daily, because when you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. So if you live like that, you're going to attract the right woman into your life, and you're going to treat her right and take care of her, and you're going to know who's the right one for you. And when that happens, and I don't want to just say women, I know I talk more to men, but I'm saying in general, your partner, whatever partner you're going to have in your life, know that it is a partnership. Don't try to make decisions like, oh man, this is my money, no, man, don't do that. I made that mistake and I regret it. I never want to think that way again, where it's me. Like, I understand things that I'm capable of doing, but when I'm in a partnership, I want to at least have some dialogue and say, you know what, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? I want to purchase this vehicle and spend this much money. What do you think? Because then you can go over the budget together, and then it's like, okay, because if this happens and this may happen and this may happen, how is that going to affect our overall? And it's like, if you have money saved up, or if you pick up a side gig and you're doing Dash, or you're doing Uber, or you're doing something, all that money is going to go, say you want to pour money into your car, then that's great. But understand, when you're doing that, you're sacrificing time with the family. You're sacrificing time with your loved one. So that's why it has to be, talked about. Because look, honey, I'm going to do this for 6 months. I really want to do this, but I don't want it to affect our mortgage, our gas, our groceries, whatever. And that's why it's important to have that open dialogue. And it's okay to go out with your friends and be with the fellas, be with the ladies, all that. But make sure that you have that core trust, because once you ruin that, I promise you, man, it's like a broken vase. Like, you can glue it back together, but it'll never be the same. You have to completely get a new one. And I'm not saying that you can't establish a new relationship with your spouse, but there's a lot of work that has to go to do that, man. I promise you, it's a lot. And for me, it's worth it when you know you have a good woman or a good man or a good partner or whatever it is worth it to rebuild. And sometimes you gotta, establish a different foundation and rebuild from that. That doesn't always work for everybody, man, because not everybody has the strength to be able to pour into the relationship again. And unfortunately, you have to respect that. But I'm just sending this out because I've experienced a lot of this stuff in my life. And if I can share it with people so they know that it's not easy opening a business, it's not easy having a successful relationship, it's not easy building a brand, it's not easy managing money and managing fame, attention, all that stuff. I promise you, it affects you in so many different ways. And regardless of what's going on in life, you're gonna get tested. You're always gonna get tested. You may get blessed, but you're always gonna get tested. And I pray that you get the blessings that you want and you deserve. You are worthy of having these things. You are worthy of having a nice car, a nice house, and all that. I understand that it comes with a lot of obligation. I understand it comes with a lot of responsibility, a lot of maintenance, a lot of work. So you gotta constantly keep yourself balanced and work on yourself, your spiritual, mental, your physical, all that. Like I said, you got to have balance all across the board. Are you perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has flaws. Everybody has different expectations. Everybody has different definitions of love, trust, loyalty, all that kind of stuff, man. So understand how to communicate with your partner, how to share things, whether it's writing, whether it's emailing, whether it's having let's meet every Friday, let's have dinner time. Before dinner, we'll talk about the things that are concerning us. We'll talk about our aspirations. We'll talk about work. And then after that, you get that out the way, and then you eat and you enjoy dessert, enjoy some wine, whatever, and just love each other and block everything else out. All the responsibilities, block that out and just show affection towards each other. Doesn't always have to be sexual, man. It's just the intimacy of connecting your souls together and becoming one is the beauty in relationships. So that's my advice today. That's my spew today. It's my TED Talk today. So hopefully it makes a difference in somebody's life, because I promise you, man, all I want to do is help change. I want to be the change so people can see the change and also apply it to their lives. I'm telling you, man, I've come from very humble beginnings. I've messed up in my life. A lot of things have gone on in my life. I've tasted a lot of victories and I've tasted a lot of losses. A lot of those losses I turned into lessons. And all I want to do is be the difference. I want to be able to open up my barber college, and I will open up my barber college. And I'm going to be able to pour into people that come to my school. Not only will I teach you how to cut hair and how to maintain clippers and how to build up your brand and how to build up your following and how to do all those things. At the core of everything, I want to teach you to be a great person. I want to teach you to tap into who you are and why you're here. You have a purpose. So that's what I'm going to teach. And those are the things that I feel like are more of the value that you're going to get from my barber college. Not everybody understands that, and not everybody wants that, and it is okay. But I do want to teach those people that want to be able to be balanced enough to sustain this career. I've been doing this over 20 years, man, and I'm telling you that you can have a fruitful life, but you can also be your own, to your own demise, man, where you get big-headed because you get some followers or you get some money or you get this contract or you're working for a company or whatever it may be. You can, that pride will get to you, man, and it'll hurt you, and you can lose everything that matters to gain everything that doesn't matter. And if hopefully that makes sense to you, because sometimes you may get the money, but you'll lose the love of your life. You can get the money and you'll lose your family. You can get the car and you'll lose the joy that you had when you were just driving a regular vehicle, because now you're so focused on your brand new car. You can have a real nice car. You can't park in a regular parking lot. You can't drive on the regular streets. And you can't even enjoy it because you're so stressed about, is someone going to hit it? Is it going to rain? Is it going to this? I got to wash it. I got to wax it. And some people can't maintain that. And it's cool. I'm not telling you not to have a nice car. Understand what comes attached with it. That's all I'm saying. All right, man. Y'all stay blessed and y'all stay faded.